I traveled all through this here land. I'm up around the New England parts, down where the land called Mexico starts, and in between there I visited a lot of places. I shook a lot of hands, saw a lot of faces. I got pretty close to some things you wouldn't want to go near, heard some things you wouldn't want to hear. But of all the towns that I can recollect now, there's one I remember being a little different somehow, because there was this man, I don't guess you doubt it, he did this thing. Well, let me tell you about it. It was a midsummer's evening, if I remember right. I was hunting up a place where I could stay the night, and I came on this crossroads about 7:15. Only thing there was this hotel and a tavern. Well, the door was open, there was a candle burning. I mean, it wasn't anything too fancy or nothing, but it looked like a place you might get a drink, have a spot to sit and some time to think. So I go on in. I'm the only one there, except for the bartender, of course, and two other guys there, and they was gruff old boys. You should have seen them. So I go on up, sit down in between them. I say, busy night? No one laughs. The tender comes over, he's wiping a glass. He says, I've never seen you in here before. I say, that's because I've never been in here before. He says, where are you from? I say, nowhere special. He says, just passing through, right on schedule. Well, we talked that way for a little while. Neither one of the other two even cracking a smile. Finally, he tells me that I look thirsty. I say, thanks, friend. I ain't had a drink since Thursday. So he pours me a beer. I thank him for the service. He says, you all right, man? You seem kind of nervous. Well, I guess I must have been moving my eyes back and forth betwixt these two other guys. So I say, what's the story with these two fellas? Tender sort of perks up. He says, well, let me tell you, a man on your right is a righteous man. He's a man I trust about as far as I can. He don't say much that ain't worth saying, but a word from him is a word worth saving. The man to your left's a whole other story. Belongs to his very own category. I don't guess there's much that man ain't said, against friend or enemy, living or dead. Well, as soon as he says that, this bottle comes flying. Tender ducks, it breaks behind him. One of them threw it, I couldn't tell which, and then the other one called him an old son of a bitch. Well, he says, you want to see something really funny? I say, that depends. What'll it cost me? He says, nothing, just a minute of your time. I say, all right, well, that ought to be just fine. He says, ask this fine young handsome gentleman, and he's pointing to the guy standing right across from him. He says, ask him to tell you about that other fella, the one there sitting on the other side of you. Yeah. I say, why? What for? What'll happen? He says, nothing, probably, and he starts laughing. I say, I don't get it. He says, well, I can see I'm boring you. Just don't try telling me that I didn't warn you. Then the phone rings and he walks off somewhere. So for a minute I paused. I just sat there drinking. Nobody was talking, and so I started thinking, I mean, what in the heck could be so hilarious about these two fellas? He can't be serious. So I'm drinking. I'm feeling a buzz. I asked the man to my right what his name was. He says, I'm Jake. I say, and who's your brother? He says, well, for that, you're going to have to ask my mother. I say, all right, well, where's she? Says it doesn't know. Points down the bar. Says, my brother might, though. I say, all right, well, this is getting exhausting. So I go up to his brother, practically accost him. I say, howdy, friend, put her there. Now, what can you tell me about that man down there? Well, he just shrugs me off, turns his back. He's pouring out shots and knocking them back. So I try again. I've always been persistent. He resists me again, like he's all against it. The tender calls out, no, man, you can't force it. I know he drinks it faster than he pours it, but you just let him finish that there swaller, and you'll see, he'll begin to holler. And sure enough, no sooner had he set down his glass than he said, all right, I'll tell you. But just because you asked, he's a no good, long-haired, dirty yellow, double-crossing son of a go-down, lying, cheating, stealing, rank-smelling, onion-peeling, lazy inbred, foul-mouthed, grass-fed, ugly, useless, two-bit, unread, urine-drinking, whistle-blowing, story-telling, feces-throwing, rap-dodging, mug-ricking, unamusing, ambulance-chasing, money-grubbing, mother-loving, counterfeiting, good well-mannered, lame-bland, inconsiderate, stupid, selfish, weak, illiterate, helpless, hopeless, heartless, desperate. Hang on a minute now, I ain't done yet. Measly, sneaky, sniveling, treacherous, lecherous, daughter diddling, cold-blooded, backstabbing, two-faced, disgraced, carpetbagging. He's an unenlightened, foolish, misanthropic, uncreative, oafish, idiotic, brown-nosing, boot-licking, finger-pointing, ass-kissing, needy, greedy, angry, jealous, underhanded, sideways, overzealous, dishonest, careless, gross, disgusting, disgraceful, hateful, enemy trusting, beer belly, knock knee, sorry excuse for a cross-eyed, hook nose, snaggle a tooth, pigeon-livered, humpback, chicken-hearted, don't even go getting me started. He's a genuine trash meat, lower than bottom done, fun spoiling, trouser soiling, door-to-door insurance selling, bootlegging, egg-laying, naysaying, no pain, spit-spraying, belly aching, hand-breaking, time wasting, unreliable, ruthless, unrelenting, freeloading, freedom-hating, not to mention he's a card-carrying, proselytizing, sister-marrying, fascist, sympathizing, and he ain't no friend of mine. No, he ain't no friend of mine. He may be one of a kind, but he ain't no friend of mine. He ain't no friend of mine.
Who is he?
He ain't no friend of mine. He may be my brother, but he ain't no friend of mine.